So I just wanted to share something I've learned personally in my experiences about the saying, your needs are always met. When I first started really understanding that, I always thought at the time of the level of my awareness that it kind of meant that if I had manifested something, it would come in the way that I put out in the universe. And what I learned was that I was still controlling the outcome. I was still letting this get in the way and not really allowing this to recognize what it needed. And so when life just throws everything at you and it just feels like it is one thing after the other, and that when it rains, it pours, and everybody can relate to that emotion and that experience. And what I learned, and what I'm still learning, and there's so many aspects to learning one thing, and I feel like a lot of people, I will say, remind them, hey, don't worry, your needs are always met. And the reactions that come from it are very mixed, or yeah, I know. And it always comes down to that, do you believe it to see it, or do you see it to believe it? And what I've kind of learned is that in every experience, it shows you, right? It's a tangible visual mirror that when things happen, it tests our level of what we are believing and how much do we really believe that's true. And I tell a lot of people, when you have this new truth or understanding or belief, right? It's like the universe comes and hey, Kayla, do you really believe it? Here's a test. Let's see if you'll walk your walk and talk your talk. And that's really what you believe, based off my reaction. And sometimes I'm okay. And then sometimes I'm yes, I do. And so that's going back to that saying of your needs are always met. Is something that I personally learned is that every tribulation and every obstacle or any challenge that has gone on my path, it really has, that need really had provided me an opportunity to see where I am at on that balance. How balanced are you? Something's coming at me, and at that moment it just feels like there's no way out, or it's just, you're just stressed and you're just ah. And it's that whole experience was a need. It met my needs. It may not have been in the way I would like it to come, or like I said back in the day, how I controlled, this manifested in a way, it's just, you ask for something, right? And you gotta learn, you gotta be careful what you wish for, right? So if you need something, it's gonna provide itself to you. It's just, are you paying attention? Are you paying attention to that? So when you're driving and someone cuts you off and you're just road raging, reaction, it's was that a need? Because that need, someone cutting you off could have given you that moment of providing you from not crashing into something else or whatever. You just always being at the right time, the right place at the right time. And I don't know, it's just, I've always feel like it's important to see things in so many different ways and different perspective. And personally, I just want to share my personal experiences, just a reminder that your needs are always met. They're just going to come in ways that we may not recognize it as a need. And we may recognize it as a challenge, or we may recognize it as fill in the blank. That's kind of our responsibility, right? Is to to recognize those things, and your needs are met. It's just whether you're going to take that and be like, okay, I needed this experience so I could learn this about myself, or learn this about this person, or that I needed this because it's in the bigger picture. And it's so easy to get hyper focused, and it's just when we kind of like step back and just, let it all come, we can see that, like, okay, that was a need. I didn't see it at the time. And a lot of the times our needs are stepping stones. And so we just need that little bit of information to get to that next information, to get to the next one, to get to the next one, to complete the cycle so you can't get to the big picture. And it is hard and it is frustrating because our society is very much like instant gratification. And it's hard not to fall into that. And sometimes, like I said, sometimes those social norms of something that's so opposite and so out of balance is like, you need that chaos to get the order back. And so, yeah, your needs are always met. And that's kind of why I'm just making this video, because it's just a reminder. Your needs are always met. They're just probably going to come in ways that are not the way we want them to come. And that's another need. And that experience is only going to provide more wisdom and knowledge to get you to the next part of your path. So, yes, your needs are